We didn't actually talk to Napoleon yet, did we?
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling. Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you. Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot.
Ha!
I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
Were you able to recognize the prowler?
Unfortunately not, no. It was dark, and Lord Mortimer was waiting for me. I was not really paying attention anyway.
Not a single detail. Questioning. Yeah, we really need this chapter to be over with. This is nuts. Okay, we want etiquette.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well.
Good Lord.
Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Why is he a poor soul? I guess he lost.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you. What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight, so I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No. Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
How did I not see that it was free
I've
before?
been studying him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already.
Well, have we finished,
Okay, I
monsieur?
don't know where that other one
Exactly. Thanks again for
was,
all your
or
answers.
maybe that was it.
Good day.
Okay. And what, we paid to unlock this? No? I mean, I see bottles there, but I don't know if... Let's hang on to our 2 points. We're getting too low to be worried about searching stuff like that. I mean, there could be a letter or something in there, but... I think Napoleon is legit. Oh. Oh, it's golden elixir. Okay.
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Okay, let's get out of here. Let's go back and we can do Elizabeth's room, which we still haven't been to yet. Or we can go and question Jacques. Kind of like that one. We can try to question Jacques and maybe one of his vulnerabilities will come up. Kind of low on points. Over this way.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Questioning, manipulation. I think it was etiquette was his weakness. Oh, some people have more than one. Etiquette and psychology, yeah, he has two.
I know you were at the scene. We will save a lot of time if you just tell me what happened.
You know nothing at all.
Enlighten me then. For now, I have your footprint in a pool of blood.
That's right. The only thing you can prove is one of my boots was at the scene. Congratulations. You've wrapped up the investigation.
Oh, he's not going to talk to us anymore? Really?
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
No.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself. I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting.
No, he's being really uncooperative. Wait.
Dear Monsieur Peru, I'm writing to thank you for the... I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
That's Devil's Thorn. This is locked, right? We're gonna leave that. That's probably gonna be like another chapter where we have to get that if there is one. If we have another opportunity to go back in there. I think we pretty much have to do Elizabeth now, and then we gotta double back and see who we missed or who we didn't talk to.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess. Grammar of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language and all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une partie of it. Tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice.
She's an orphan, obviously. I mean, she couldn't have orphan children, so the letter you're not gonna let me read. As well.
The Lady's Waldegrave by Reynolds, painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family, in an effort to find them a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting.
Not a whole lot going on in here.
Dear E, I received your last letter. Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no circumstances hamper Sir Gregory's plans. Decidedly, they have support from the highest level in Buckingham Palace. So here we both are, hands and feet tied, and little room to maneuver. Keep me abreast of events. Our mission is becoming more complicated. Yours, E. T.S. The French chapter of the Order doesn't appear to know anything about the arrival of our friend Sarah. I therefore cannot comment on it. However, my guess is that she has come here for personal reasons.
Assuming that's to her sister. From her sister. But I also know they're both here, so that means that she joined her.
From William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers. Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes with the King? I will personally see to it that our nation will recover from this impasse. But King George's mental situation is slowing down our decision-taking. Thank you in advance for all your help. William Pitt, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. Two coils circle the lock. A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam, I shall never thank you enough for all your care and attention. I shall be indebted to you until my last breath. If you have any request of me, you only need ask. With regards to my son William, I shall never thank you enough for looking after him. You know the latter's preferences, and you will understand he needs you desperately. For that, and as agreed with Queen Charlotte, our friend Duke Hillsborough will carry out his task and meet with you within 6 months. From then on, you'll be free from want. Yours sincerely, William Pitt, Count of Chatham.
These people got a lot going on. Hey girl, you got some honey?
William Pitt, the Elder, Earl of Chatham. Emily works with his son.
It was the Pitts. Okay, well. Oh, well, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, we want psychology and not logic.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Psychology.
Death came quickly. You can be
Should
assured
pick
of that.
up one, I think.
If
Yeah.
such a senseless act can happen here, then none of us is truly safe anywhere. Lord Mortimer must be mortified that one of his guests could have committed such an act, don't you think?
He is indeed very upset about it. It's only natural after such a violent murder.
Violent? What do you mean?
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times.
Oh my God, Louis. How awful. The murderer must have had a serious grudge against her to set upon her like that. It must have been a crime of passion.
No, they
Do
just
you
weren't
know
very
what
good at
happened
it.
exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
I'm now interviewing all the guests to establish the alibis for each person. Just so that I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Am I given to understand that I'm on the list of suspects?
Don't take it the wrong way, but I must consider every possibility.
Well, if you absolutely wanted to be sure of my activities that evening, you only had to join me, you know.
I know, Emily, especially since I couldn't prevent the murder, even though I spent part of the evening with Elizabeth.
You're sure it's not too hard to bear for you?
The fact is, I don't have a choice.
I thought she was supposed to be in my room.
I owe Elizabeth that, at least.
I got back there and she wasn't there.
Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
Version.
I hear you were in discussions with the Holy See.
Oh, either His Eminence can't keep his tongue from wagging, or you've been poking your nose where you shouldn't, sir.
Even so, Emily, you're raising a royalist army. That's no small matter.
And you are straying from the subject. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Tell me, Emily, what's the nature of your relationship with Washington?
Oh, come off it, Louis. You're not going to go into a jealous rage, are you?
No, I can assure you of that. That has nothing to do with it. You're preparing a treaty to break the ties between the United States and France.
Whatever are you talking about, Louis?
I read your correspondences, Emily.
It's not what you think. So don't go thinking there's anything personal in it.
Are you trying to break Franco-American agreements, Emily?
That's the job, Louis. We're all doing everything we can to serve the best interests of our nation. It's got nothing to do with you or us.
But why didn't you tell me about it before?
Would you have told me?
I found a torn piece of dress in Miss Adams' room. Gray silk.
Where's it from?
That's what I'm trying to find out. The color doesn't match any of Elizabeth's dresses, but I might not have found all of her clothes yet.
Good Lord, Louis, do you realize what this means? If this piece of dress isn't from Elizabeth, then it's... I don't have any grey silk dresses, Louis. Neither does my sister, since we wear the same clothes.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to check with you.
I'm so sorry, Louis.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You know, I'm sure there's a good reason why your mother was at the scene.
Thank you, Emily. We found the murder weapon.
What is it?
A dagger, quite slim.
Have you found its owner?
Not yet. Still searching as it happens. That said, since the blade penetrated the body several times, the murderer's hand will have been covered in blood.
You think that's a clue?
The handprint was a very slender hand, Emily. Probably that of a woman.
Do you realize what that means? There are only 3 of us on the island. Bearing in mind that neither my sister nor myself had any reason to set upon the young lady, that means...
I know, Emily. I know.
Keep up your courage, Louis. I'm sure there's an explanation. You're bound to shed some light on it all.
If what you say is true, Emily, I'm less and less enthusiastic about shedding any light on the subject. Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't
A lot of
really
people
seek
think
her
crazy
out.
is contagious. He's one of those.
Since your arrival, did you notice anything strange about Elizabeth?
Everything that happened around that poor child was strange. You saw that for yourself.
I know. You're right. I'm looking for leads to try to reduce the number of suspects.
Well, I would say that in addition to ourselves, you could also cross off President Washington. I went to see him during the night. I had some business with him, and I can confirm that he didn't leave his room all night.
That gives Washington an alibi.
I should have started a Venn diagram for this. The only one that I think...
I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
The only ones I think... The only person I think it doesn't say was accounted for. Okay, the Count and the creepy guy, their rooms are not down here, so I can't search them. At least I don't think so. They were playing cards with Napoleon. Woolner, I think, and the priest. She and her, they were with Washington. Okay, so that's like 7. So the big French guy who's angry doesn't have an alibi, I don't think, right?
Two coils circle the lock.
And the guy that we haven't, like, G'day, is that who it is? We don't have one for him yet.
Queen Charlotte. All the royal family of England is there from what I can tell.
Huh? What are you talking about, bro?
Queen Charlotte. All the royal family of England is there from what I can tell.
Only one person in the picture, or is he just talking about the whole suite? Might be talking about the whole suite. Make sure we didn't leave anything high up. Oh, what about her balcony? Does she have a balcony? Yes, she's standing in front of it. Oh. It's gonna cost us 3 points to do whatever she's got going on. Oh no, we used the drug. Okay, so yeah, we asked her the 3-point question. Okay, somebody's we had a chest to search in Napoleon's room. Like the actual for clues. Yeah, see Godoy, and because I think they want us to forget about him, because like we have not even met this cat yet, right? Like he doesn't have a picture. We don't know him. Okay. We need to make another pass and see what we have going on. Should be able to go back there and take notes and stuff and get in your lockbox if you hadn't done it yet and stuff like that. I know we questioned Washington, but I can't remember if we left anything in here. I can't tell what that one is. I don't think it's honey though. I want to say that's devil thorn. We need to go back to Napoleon's room and search the chest. I'm wary to, even though, like, we had extra options, I think, for Emily because we read Washington's letters. I'm wary to go and ask some questions again because I can't skip dialogue. Like, I don't want to go, if I could go talk to everybody and be like, hey, I have this other question to ask you. Like, if that was the first thing that popped up, I would do it. But I don't want to sit through all that dialogue again. Certainly you don't want to. I think we're just going to roll with what we got. Okay, well that's one of the ones that gives you a free question, so... I don't consider that a loss. Oh, I'm stuck. That was weird. Let's see his front questions again and see if they're different. But I won't go into the other ones.
Greetings, Louis.
Are you alright, Mr. President? Are you feeling alright?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
I shan't keep you any longer, Mr.
Okay,
President.
well that told us
Feel
nothing.
free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It wouldn't let us into his room.
Monseigneur, His Eminence
Oh,
Cardinal Piage.
because he's upstairs. I wonder if I gotta egg him on like I did the other guy. Yeah, let's go do that. I'm assuming it's gonna be something like a letter or something that's in his thing. Yeah, this thing. Oh. Oh, did we do it? I think we did it on accident. Oh no, this is Wolder's. This isn't Napoleon, this is Wolder's room. Let's go look at Napoleon's chest, and I think that's all we can really do. Unless we go on, we can go upstairs and egg on the priest. That's what we need to do to see if he goes... Oh, did I for real just pass Napoleon's room? He was in the white hallway. I think he was next to Jacques. That's why I thought it was this guy. Oh, can we get in here? Oh. So at least two of the stairwells, that's a no. That's Jacques. There's Napoleon. Okay. Hope I just didn't waste the point asking Washington about his tooth. Okay.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost.
Okay, well at least I was able to get it. That's another free question. So that's probably better than finding the honey actually. So that's fine.
French actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty.
Golden elixir is full. That's the one that gets rid of negative effects. Alright, we're already in here. Let's ask him too.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy. Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Yeah, I don't think it's the big guy. It's too obvious. Okay, we need to go, I think, back the other way. Well, let's check the stairs too. This is, oh no, this is the one in front of Elizabeth's room. We've already looked at this one. Go back this way and try to go upstairs. And we gotta go upstairs to turn the quest in anyway, I think. And then hopefully it's gonna let us go to bed, because good lord. We're running on fumes here as it is. But I think I have to tell him who I think did it, and I honestly got no real idea. I should have done a Venn diagram to know who was vouching for everybody, because I think Jacques is the only one that nobody vouched for at any point, but that's too obvious. I think he came in later. Ooh, can I talk to this dude? Oh. I think I already looked at that
The
one.
nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781.
Dude, I know the bird knows stuff. He can talk. Yeah. That's what that was in the room, was Devil's Thorn, up high on the shelf. Okay, let's see if I can egg him on
What
to
a
go into his
tragedy,
room.
my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte, I believe, hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru. You remember how violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry. He's on the list of suspects.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that he's more sussy than a lot of these other people. Because he's pointing the finger at the guy that was in the room beating on her. He's putting himself there with the guy, right? Like, and the guy could have not been there if he's lying. He's saying, hey, I saw her outside her room at the time of the murders. Well, yeah, but that puts you there at the time of the murders.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm
You
trying
got
to
small
find out.
hands? Not really.
Did
Look
you
at those
notice
things.
anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing. But if I were you, my son, I would talk to Monsieur Peru.
Yeah, I feel like
You
he's
remember
trying way
how
too hard.
violently he set upon Miss Adams.
Oh, don't worry.
I mean, he could have
He's on the
trench
list of
boots on under
suspects.
there. We don't know. I don't know if he has popal slippers. I don't know what he's got going on there. Why don't you hike up the vestments there? Let us have a look. Is that the Dante?
Dante's Purgatory. Why does your mind presume to flight? when
Okay,
you're still
so
like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form.
I think we're kind of out of options. Trying to think, if we actually spoke to everybody? Can't speak to her. Spoke to him. Can't speak to her. Spoke to her. At least one of them. Yeah, where's Holmes at? Okay, we're gonna look around for Holmes. Okay, we spoke to him. Spoke to him. Well, wait, we spoke to him in the hallway. Yeah, we spoke to him. Okay. But he might have more that we can unlock. Godoy, we don't know where he is. Oh, it has them both here now. It has both the girls here now. I didn't notice that. Okay, so they're both here now. I'm looking at they both got the same freckle on underneath their left eye. So that's not going to help us. We spoke to him twice, but we can't get in his room. We spoke to Napoleon twice. We spoke to Washington. Let's see who he says he was playing cards with again. I thought he said the priest and Sir Holmes. But he didn't say Napoleon. He didn't say these other people. I thought Napoleon said himself and somebody else.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
Okay, so he's vouching for 5 of them until midnight. I don't remember what time I left Elizabeth. But if Elizabeth did it, she would have had to have done it after I left. Which she could have. There's nobody... Washington is supposedly vouching for her. Did he say... He said Washington left at midnight, right?
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
Okay, so nobody is... Like, I don't know if this locks me out of the conversation. I want to think about this and eat some lunch.
I'll be in touch as soon as I have
come back
any
in a
more
minute.
information.
I gotta think about everybody. Okay, so... At lunchtime, I sat down and made Venn diagrams. From what I could remember, anyway. So, at the poker game, there was, okay, so Mortimer is the one that said he was at the poker game with Washington, Napoleon, the priest, and Holmes, which is Sir Gregory, the weird dude. Okay, so the 5 of them were playing cards. Holmes, the priest, and Mortimer supposedly stayed late playing cards. Washington and Napoleon left at midnight. Napoleon, I think he said he went to his room. Washington then met up with Elizabeth at some time. I don't know where, before they were playing cards, I guess, me and Elizabeth were supposed to hook up. Not Elizabeth, Emily. Emily was supposed to come back to my room, but didn't. We don't know what happened to her while I was talking to Elizabeth. But after I met with her, supposedly, she met up with Washington after the poker game. They supposedly spent all night together doing something. The priest supposedly played all night, but yet at some point he claims that he saw Jacques lurking around the girl's room, which also means that Giuseppe here was lurking around her room, and he may be lying about Jacques. No one else says that they saw Jacques. So we only have the word of Giuseppe, who we caught already lingering around her once. Or maybe he was lingering around Jacques. I don't know. He's following one of those two. And spying on one of those two. Probably the girl, since he said, well, he could have been following Jacques to the girl's room. So yeah, he could be following either one of those two. Emma, we still don't know if she's alive or dead. I'm figuring she's the one that Mom shot. Because I think that should have happened by now. I really don't remember that cutscene. I wish we could go back and watch it. But she's a possible murderer too. We don't know anything about where she is. We don't know anything about where Mother is. They're both women that could have killed somebody. Even if George vouches for Emily, Emily was at least alone during the time that I was actually with Elizabeth. I don't think she was with Washington that whole time. She shouldn't have been, because she should have been back in my room. Right? If she was in her room, then that means Washington met her there. So I really don't know what that gets us. Jacques is too obvious at this point. I mean, Mortimer has to be lying about Giuseppe, because Giuseppe himself said that he went and that he followed Jacques to his room. Okay, what I'm going to do is, let's talk to old boy and see what that other option says. Like, I want to know if I can back out of it. If I can't, I might load the save, so we don't get trapped. Because we might want to go talk to people again.
Findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
See, last time I chose this. Like, I wanted to talk to him about the clues. I didn't want him to end it.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
From what I've found out, I believe that my mother is the culprit. Even though I find it hard to accept.
Sarah? But why her?
Elizabeth thought that Mother was going to kill her. Difficult to believe in a simple coincidence in light of recent events.
Indeed, it's uncanny. Anything else?
I found out that there was a long history between Elizabeth and my mother. She had been her personal doctor and had tortured her throughout her childhood.
Ah, and so she could have tried to silence Elizabeth so the truth wouldn't get out and damage her reputation. Well, it's possible. Have you anything else?
I found a piece of fabric that appears to have belonged to her and proves she was present at the scene of the crime.
Interesting. Anything else?
The print left on the knife near the body was left by a slender hand, without a doubt the hand of a woman.
And there aren't many female guests. I see. Anything else, Louis?
I think that there is more than enough evidence here.
Indeed, it's very worrying. Everything seems to indicate that your mother is responsible for Elizabeth's murder. Given the distinguished guests and the political issues involved at the conference, I trust you'll leave me to conclude the case in my own way.
Now that we've examined the question from all sides,
Maybe you could explain to me why you asked me here, my lord.
Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She seems to be making every effort to steer clear of your guests.
What do you mean?
For the past few weeks, my mother's been playing cat and mouse, if you will. I don't know why, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that she's trying to avoid someone. The question is, who?
And in your opinion, would she be the cat or the mouse?
Knowing my mother, she would be the cat.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities and yours in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the cannon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable. France is in turmoil, and having the support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
She was looking for someone.
What do you mean?
In Paris, we were working on a smuggling case to do with occult objects. We had just arrested a dealer who intended to go to you to meet a buyer. My mother was here to find out to whom he intended to sell his stolen treasure.
Oh. What was the name of your dealer?
The dealer was called von Burchard. As for the buyer, he was unknown to us.
No, I don't know anything about that. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
Ah, yes. His famous cotton gin. It was supposed to revolutionize cotton production in the United States.
It will revolutionize the world, Louis. The potential of this invention is much greater. Tomorrow, all industries will be switching to simple but large-scale production. Of that, I'm sure.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Mother lulled my childhood with tales of the Crusades. How Richard the Lionheart and Philip Augustus had to battle it out to achieve their ends. And how Guy de Lusignan, having broken his word, launched the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Oh, I see Sarah's lessons have inspired new enthusiasts. Good on you, because not everyone can claim they know as much at your age. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you. The room is just opposite Mortimer's study.
It did not let us rest. So we're gonna have to see what we can do with what we have.
Honey. Like there are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword.
I recognize her love of riddles there.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortar world must ripen in our rays. What is this disc?
I don't know if I could use a point on it once I pick it up, so we'll leave it there for a minute.
Carmelite water. They say that if you drink this, it gives you a real boost. St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of?
Come on.
I must find the next part. Faith, sword.
I recognize her love of riddles there.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. What is this disc? Oh, that reminds me of the ones my mother collects. It's magnetic. The door appears to be locked on the other side.
Okay, now we gotta... Is there a way to use the magnet? It doesn't have a use option. I don't see anything else in the room to do, so
The door appears to be
maybe
locked
it'll
on the
give
other
me an
side.
option when I do open as to whether or not I pick it or smash it or... Okay,
I
there we
think
go.
I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. We'll see if it works.
It's open.
Okay, let's look around high first. At one point, I gotta save to try to get something off the high shelf. Honey, preferably. Don't see anything.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Oh. It looks like I have one of them. Not letting me use it though. Okay. Well, let's look around everywhere else then. Collector's coin. I don't want to mess with any of the books or the paintings. Well, yeah, that's just one to pick up.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Devil's Sword will
Amber.
help us here. Okay, that's better. Still don't see the key in here though. We must have missed it somewhere else in the house. Okay. Well, let's not use the honey until we have to.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni.
I thought it was Santa putting that little girl on the naughty list.
Transmitted by the Holy Spirit.
Or
who
Kenny
appears
Rogers.
here in the guise of an angel. The New Testament. This volume dates from the first edition of Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. The pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. A volume of the Gutenberg Bible.
Oh, good Lord.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Yeah, let's look at that in a minute.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni. Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
Book 2, 11, verse 11. Or opposite. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna be here all day.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall,
mean 11
salvation
twice.
is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say?
Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the 2 groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle.
What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that?
The one painted most recently?
St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle.
Not necessarily.
Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer.
Cut the painting.
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle? Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the 2nd day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean? St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery
I
who
want to
hasn't
hear the
got
whole
beard.
thing. Just tell me the note. Oh, no, you're not going to tell me the note again.
On the 2nd day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Meaning, well, which one has 3 people? Maybe it's another chapter and verse thing. That key.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. There's nothing worth noticing here. No, nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew. It says, "Count in the dust." All right, let's do it. There's nothing worth noticing here. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. That's what the message in Hebrew spoke about. Hebrew 8.
Oh, there's only 1 candle in this one. Oh no, there's 3. Yeah, so I don't know what the 1 and the 3 thing meant. Well, she said Hebrew 8, so let's take a look.
Thou hast put all things under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him.
Why are you going to kick me out of the book like that?
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. Here's a message. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's see tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah. This last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul. St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean?
Okay, well, is there anything else of Paul's? To his left. His left would be our right.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Louis de Richet. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Louis de Richet. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
There's got to be something going on here. Okay, well, the book is the only thing that's left.
This volume dates from the first edition of Gutenberg. It's the first book that was ever printed. The pages are covered in annotations in Latin, French, and Hebrew. Someone spent years studying this Bible.
Or wait a minute. Ah, okay, it just goes back. I mean, if we just start plugging through all these,
He that believeth on him is not condemned.
we might hit on it,
But
but
he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean? A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni.
I just don't want to
He's
spend the points
represented
on
as
that.
writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?